Morning, you're watching the Channel M Breakfast Show on Thursday, the 26th of February. I'm Nikki Dean.
And I'm Byron Evans, and tomorrow is a very exciting day on the Channel M Breakfast Show. We're going to be speaking to a bona fide legend.
Oh, yes.
He's the man with the biggest golden chains in history. He's got the craziest haircut in the world, and he takes no messing, suckers. Who am I talking about?
Guess who it is? It's Mr. T.
Mr. T, fool.
How do you think he got to the UK if he ain't getting on no full plane?
I get no plane.
On no full plane? On no plane, fool.
Well,
I'm so excited, I can't even get my words out this morning.
Yep, so no full planes were allowed to collect business. Maybe they drugged him again and actually snuck him in. Or maybe because he's actually here promoting manliness. He's promoting and advertising a chocolate bar, shall we say. And in order to make men more masculine, he's coming to our fair island to teach us the way. So perhaps he swam here.
Quite possibly, or legged it.
Yeah, or ran.
He might have run the whole way, mightn't he?
Or rode.
Very exciting. I'm even more excited than when we had Keith Chegwin on, and that is saying something.
Yeah, Mr. T, I used to love the A-Team. I remember the cartoon when I was a kid as well.
Amazing,
also, Rocky 3 as Clubber Lang. That's my favourite Rocky.
He's a bit of a legend, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, we're asking you at home, have you got any questions that you would like to put to Mr. T? As we say, he's here talking about promoting manliness. There's been a bit of a rise of the metrosexual of late, isn't there? And surveys, we've got some statistics we'll be working through tomorrow, but 65% of people these days think that men are less manly than they were 10 years ago. What is manly? Yeah,
what is manly? Are we talking caveman stuff where we grab our ladies by the hair? I mean, what constitutes as manly? What questions would you like to pose to Mr. T? Please don't hesitate to contact us. breakfast@channelm.co.uk is the website. 88821. Start your message with show, and that's the text number.
It certainly is. Get in touch, and your question could be put to the legend that is Mr. T.
I wonder if he still hangs out with Murdoch and Face.
Yes, I think he probably does.
Probably does.
He seems like a kind of down-to-earth guy, doesn't he?
Nothing down-to-earth about Mr. T.
We'll ask him tomorrow, shall we?
OK, yeah, we shall.
Exciting. In just a couple of minutes, we've got all the latest sports headlines for you. Plus, we'll preview tonight's episode of Channel M's Talking Sharks. But first, today's news with Beverly Wharton.
Good morning, this is Channel M's early morning news bulletin from Urbis in the city centre. Here are today's top stories. The Royal Bank of Scotland is expected to report the biggest annual loss in UK corporate history. The bank had to be bailed out by taxpayers last November and has warned that its 2008 losses may reach as high as £28 billion. Its chief executive, Sir Fred Goodwin, has begun drawing his £650,000 a year pension. The government says it's looking into the matter. David Cameron and his wife Samantha have thanked the public for their support following the death of their 6-year-old son Ivan, who was suffering from cerebral palsy and epilepsy. He died yesterday at St Mary's Hospital in London after a sudden seizure. Gordon Brown has also made his sympathy public. His newborn daughter died 7 years ago. Now, Oscar-winning film director Danny Boyle has been made a freeman in his hometown of Bury. The local council has given him the honour ahead of his return to Radcliffe this weekend.
I mean, many years ago, is that people could drive or horseback on their horse through the borough, and they could feed their horses outside the town hall. They could do other things. They could actually have their sword drawn, etc. And it's very similar to the Fusiliers, because the Fusiliers has the freedom of the borough. They can parade with muskets on and their bayonets, etc. So it's something which obviously they don't do now.
Oasis have been named Best British Band at the NME Awards in London. The Manchester band from Burnage were nominated in a record 7 categories, but picked up just 1. Noel Gallagher also scooped a gong for Best Band Blog. They beat off Block Party, Radiohead and The Last Shadow Puppets to win. Labour peer Lord Ahmed has been jailed for 12 weeks after he was involved in a fatal crash while texting and receiving messages on his mobile phone on the M1. He was driving his Jaguar when he hit a stationary car on the outside lane of the motorway and killed 28-year-old Slovakian national Martin Gombar, who was living in Lee. The accident happened near junction 35 of the southbound carriageway at Rotherham on Christmas Day in 2007. Lord Ahmed has admitted to driving dangerously. A pensioner died after waiting 2 weeks for a hip operation at Tameside Hospital. 74-year-old June Kershaw had suffered a fall, but the hospital didn't have enough beds and she developed pneumonia. Tameside Hospital has been criticised in the past for its chaotic and despicable care of the elderly. Bury Council's tax is going up by almost 5%. That means Bandy properties will pay £66 more a year. The rise comes after the council announced it was £4.5 million in the red. And hundreds of young people have staged a second protest outside Bury Council's office over plans to cut funding for young people in the area.
Say our questions, hopefully we'll find out what's going on. I think we can change anything we put our minds to. We're going to show them tonight that young people can't just be walked all over, and I think we have changed something. We've definitely showed them that we're not a pushover and that we're not an easy target anymore.
Women's prison has been slammed for failing to meet the challenges of highly vulnerable inmates, an inspection has revealed. Staff lack the training and support to deal with the most damaged women, as half of them were dependent on drugs, it said. 9 women have killed themselves while remanded or convicted at HMP style since 2002. Now, we're deep in recession and jobs are very hard to come by. But no matter how hard life gets, would you be prepared to parade half naked around city centre bars? Well, a recruitment firm has been at Blue Bar, looking for new butlers in the buff.
Tonight we're doing a recruitment audition. We've been doing a tour across the UK. And it's an open audition. We're inviting guys who think they've got what it takes to become a butler to come along, sit, chat to the panel, have some photos taken, and then we'll go from there. Looks are quite important. We're looking for, attractive guys with good, ripped physiques, but that's not everything. It really is as much to do with being nice guys, intelligent, that can hold a conversation and chat to all the guests and make the party run smoothly.
Yeah, you do well. I've got a mortgage, so it's paying for that at the minute. You do get a hell of a lot of photos taken. I'm scared to even think about how many pictures I've got of my bum on Facebook.
That's all from me for now. There'll be more Channel M news at 12 o'clock, and then at 5, Andy Crane will be with us. But for now, let's have a look at the sport.
Well, Eastlands will be hosting the UEFA Cup clash between Manchester City and FC Copenhagen tonight. And it's part 2, as in the first leg, City drew with Copenhagen 2 apiece. What do you think, Pete?
Well, I thought the first game was a cracking game. I thought City should have won, and I fully expect them to finish the job tonight. Quite frankly, they ought to, because it's all that's left in the season, effectively, because it's unlikely they're going to be relegated. It's unlikely they're going to get a European place. So this is the chance now to get some glory, much-needed glory, with all the money that's spent at Eastlands.
And I suppose the reintroduction of Sean Wright-Phillips comes back after a 3-match ban. How important is he going to be?
Well, he gives City some more pace. They've got bags of pace now with Bellamy and Robinho, but I do think that he's a key player. He's one of the better signings. I just wish he'd get the last ball would be better. It reminds me of Ryan Giggs of the past. He gets in fantastic positions, and his final delivery isn't always as good as it perhaps should be.
Well, plenty of optimism with the Blues faithful regarding tonight's fixture, perhaps none more so than Mark Hughes. And our cameras caught up with him as he gave a press conference at Eastlands yesterday.
Our intention was to progress to the latter stages. We've been able to do that, come out of the group stages as group leaders, and we're in decent shape now. We've obviously got a slight advantage, you would say, because of the away goals that we've been able to take, but we're fully aware that if we're beaten against Copenhagen, then they go through. So the away goals are negated. So we just have to make sure that we get the job done. We're in a good position, and it's up to us to make sure that we don't fall out of the competition, because I've said many times before, when you're in Europe and you're playing games Thursday and then coming back for Sunday games in the Premier League, sometimes you think it's more trouble than it's worth. But actually, when you actually go out of a competition such as the UEFA Cup, then there is there's a gap and there's a feeling that if only. So we don't want that to happen.
Well, before we move on, Pete, a quick prediction of tonight's match.
2-1.
2-1 to City, obviously. Come on, City. OK, some exciting news down at Edgeley Park. It was reported in the paper yesterday that Jason Robinson is making a return to Sale Sharks, but in a coaching capacity. Do you think that's a good move?
I think it's great that a legend's back in the game. I did think he might go into rugby league. He was spotted at a Wigan game by our reporter, Mr Barker, eagle-eyed Mr Barker. He's going to work hard at the backs at Sale and improve the pace in the team, and it couldn't come at a better time because there is a certain degree of an exodus from Sale to France, where they haven't got a salary cap in the French league. So it's perfect timing, and it'll just give them a little bit of boost towards the end of the season to maintain the charge up the table, and the second at the moment. Hopefully they'll come first, and that gives them an advantage in the playoffs at the end of the season.
Well, a little bit earlier on this morning's breakfast show, we spoke to Sale Sharks Director of Rugby, Kinglsey Jones, and I asked him how he pulled off such an exciting coup.
Well, we know each other really well. Obviously, Philippe and I appointed him as captain. He was our captain for 3 years, and in that role, at the level we play, you know, he's a direct link between the players and the coaching staff, and I've always had a great relationship with him. Coach-captain relationship has to be close, and we were probably the closest relationship of all the other coaches and players, and that's how we got to know each other well, trust each other, and you know, he's given me a compliment by saying that he probably wouldn't get back into rugby unless it was for the right people or with the right people.
Well, very excited, Kinglsey Jones, about the new appointment there as well. What a great talk, what a great guest.
He is a smashing bloke. I was pleasantly surprised. He's obviously a down-to-earth guy. He's told me some news from behind the scenes, which will be reported in the paper as soon as possible. But he's got a few problems ahead as well with McAllister. He mentioned that later on in his interview as well. I see a departure there eventually. Charlie Hodgson's, he's getting more out of him at fly half now, so it's looking good.
Well, our Channel M sporting correspondent, Will Perry, a man who likes to talk to the Sharks, has been to one player's home, Neil Briggs. Consider this Cribs, but with quite an unusual twist.
Just a little concerned he might not like my costume.
Neil Briggs! What are you wearing?
How are you, mate? Oh, just casual gear in the house, you know. We moved in just after Christmas, so it's just coming together now. There's still a few bits which we need to.
Beautiful couch.
It's nice, isn't it? DFS. Have a little jump on. Am I allowed to say that? Hey, no, don't jump on it, you. I mean, sit down. Jump on it means sit down. Sit down. What are you doing?
Now, whenever we talk about people who come to Sale at that age, at sort of 19, 20 years old, it always involves James Wade's name. So he had a big part in bringing you as well.
Yeah,
he should be knighted, this man.
No, he's brought a few lads through, hasn't he? No, well, I was playing 21s, and I needed a place to go. And Wadey's mates with Malander, obviously from when he was here before. So obviously, so they got chatting, and I'd met Kinglsey before because he was a coach at Doncaster when I was at Rotherham.
Right. So you knew what he was like.
Yeah, well, he came and did a rugby camp one that I was coaching on once, and. First time he ever met me, he took the mickey out of me, actually, so I hated him ever since. And then I came here and...
that doesn't surprise me one bit.
No, he's all right now, though. It's supposed to be a third bedroom, we haven't sorted it out yet.
This is my favourite room, this one.
This is the floor job, yeah, at the minute.
This is where your dressing up kit is?
The dressing up box, yeah, which a lot of it is Claire's, but I must say there's some of my stuff here.
It's famous within the North West, this dressing up box.
This isn't mine, though. Will, you should stop bringing your stuff round, mate. The mankini.
Well, that interview isn't quite as random as it may look. There is a reason why both those gentlemen are dressed up in rather fetching gear, and you can find out why tonight on Channel M at 7 p.m. for all the latest on Talking Sharks. Now, before we go, a quick note about Joe Murray. We spoke the other week about how he was looking for a nickname as the illustrious amateur boxer has recently turned pro. And how's the competition gone, Pete?
Well, we've had an extraordinary number of entries in this competition. Someone will be surprised later on today when we ring them up to say they've won. Joe's coming into the office at 11 o'clock this morning with his trainer, Joe Gallagher, and we're going to look through the entries and pick a winner.
Excellent. Well, hopefully we'll be able to announce it on tomorrow's breakfast show. Time now, though, for a break. And coming next, today's City Live entertainment news, which features a preview of Cinderella on Ice, which starts at the Opera House today. See you soon.